Is this like dirty? Better?
If I ever said I'm never scared, just know I mean it.
Alright, the hair went up because we about to get serious open hair. No, but seriously, we are. The topic of this vlog is going to be reverse dieting. Yes, everyone's favorite. Spitting it out. I also feel as if this is one of the bigger topics in the fitness community, especially for competitors and bodybuilders, or really anyone who has dieted down for a long period of time. A lot of people are just confused about where to start, how to start, and how to continue one. I have reverse dieted twice on my own, and both times were successful. So I want to use this video as a way to inform people, help people, give some advice, try not to rant as much, because I know that I most definitely can. So what did I do? I took some notes on my phone earlier in the week on like Monday, and then kind of just quickly jotted them down on paper because I'm gonna try and stay organized. Organization is key, my friends. So let's get started. What is a reverse diet and when/who should do one? Okay, basically a reverse diet is when you add calories back in order to increase your metabolic rate and to keep your fat gains to a minimum. Who do usually go about a reverse diet are people who have dieted down for a prolonged period of time and who have reached, you know, a level of lean. So your body after dieting is going, or as you are dieting, it's going to keep adapting to the lowered caloric intake that you are providing it, because that's what it's going to do in order to help you survive. It's completely normal. What's also normal is for your metabolic rate to go down. Basically, as you start adding those calories back in, your metabolism is going to start increasing, and you may experience some fat gain, but the main goal is to make your metabolic rate increase faster than your fat gains, if that makes sense. I don't know if this worked. I do definitely encourage that you have somewhat of a plan in place for your post-show / off-season. That way you don't, you know, gain back all of the weight you lost in a month or two, because that's not what anyone wants. I think the main problem with off-season and competitors facing that rebound that you always hear about is, one, not having a plan in place, and two, because of not having a plan, they just go out and they start to eat all the foods that they haven't had in however long, and basically they put all that weight back on because their metabolism can't catch up and keep up with the amount of food that they're intaking. So literally after dieting down that much, you are just a fat storing machine. Like, listen to me when I say this, because this is very serious and like the #1 thing that like has to be remembered. The goal of a reverse diet is not to stay at stage lean as long as possible, and it is also not used to lose weight and or body fat. The main and sole purpose of a reverse diet is to increase and fix your metabolic rate so that the next time that you do and may enter into an active fat loss phase, you will be more successful. Because if you think about it, if you stay at stage lean as long as possible and you increase from 100 carbs to 150 carbs in your off season, where do you think you're going to be able to pull from? You're starting your dieting season at 150 carbs. What do you want to do? Eat 50 grams of carbs a day towards the end of your diet? No, that would be miserable. You want to you want to push yourself and you want to get back up to a normal and maintenance level or beyond caloric intake. So how do we do that? Well, Jess, and what I have done is after my show, I had added back in around 20% of my calories. So for like math's sake and numbers sake, because it kind of makes it a little easier, let's say you were, I need something easy because I don't have a calculator. Let's say you were eating 100 grams of carbs a day, increased by 20%, you would start your reverse diet with 120 grams of carbs. If you were taking in 30 grams of fat, you would start your reverse with like 35 grams of fat. And that would be your starting point. And then from there, people will increase by 10 grams of carbs and 1 to 2 fats a week, which really only comes down to about 60 calories. What I also suggest that you do is to taper and to start decreasing your cardio. If you're doing cardio like twice a day, definitely start by just doing it once a day, like 1 time a day is enough. And I would really eliminate all of your like list cardio, even like the miss cardio, and kind of just stick to your HIIT sessions. If you're doing about like 4 a week, you know, drop it to 3, drop it to 2. You know, you gotta kind of like play around with it. Of course, you have to find what works for you, but definitely taper it because just like dieting, cardio is a tool. And I will admit again that after this competition season that I had, that I did, yes, taper my cardio. I would do like 10 to just 15 minutes, walking on an incline, whatever, just to kind of, I don't really know what I thought I was doing, but that's what I was doing. And it actually wasn't until like I started working with Nick where he was just like, okay, no more cardio at all. And like, I heard that and I was like, God bless, good, because I hated doing it. I just thought it was something I should do. I didn't really know. But he's right, and I completely agree with it, and I always have thought it. I guess I don't know what I was doing, but it's a tool, and if you are continuing to do like 2 hours of cardio a day, just to, you know, just because, like, what are you gonna do when you are going to enter back into a prep or a diet? 3? Like, I don't know. Your body, again, is going to adapt to the amount of cardio you're doing just to, like, maintain where you are. And you don't want to be doing 2 hours of cardio every day for the rest of your life. Like, no. So, how to, like, gauge your progress with your reverse diet? The scale is a good measurement, I guess. I personally don't like the scale at all. Yes, I do have one back there, but I still hate it. I don't like pictures and measurements because measurements are not going to lie, and neither will pictures. So, you know, if you are one of those people who are in their reverse diet and are either, you know, you're not gaining any weight, you know, weeks go by, you're not gaining any weight, or you're even losing weight, like, be more aggressive. Add more calories in. It is okay. It is okay. You want to get back to being a functional member of society. Why do you want to feel miserable? Why? Why? You did for so long and you did great. Yes, you did. You did awesome at your show. I bet you did, but like, I also bet you have improvements to make, and you're not going to make any if you are still super tiny and lean with no body fat on you. Like, be aggressive. If you're losing weight, if you're not making any, you know, weight increases at all, like, okay, instead of adding 5 carbs back in, add 15. Instead of adding 10, go for 20 or 25. Like, it's not gonna hurt you, just do it. I know it's like kind of easier said than done, but I mean, there's also, you know, the other aspect and the other side of it that, like, if you are increasing steadily by, you know, 10 grams of carbs and you are like increasing your weight, like, and it's jumping up faster than you want or that it really should be, maybe like hold your calories constant for a week and increase the next week, or don't be as aggressive and be a little more conservative with where you're adding in your carbs and your fats. What I also suggest is keeping up with your training. Obviously not the cardio so much, but training, yes. I personally train for the most of prep and definitely after my show. I train for strength. Shows are getting closer. I will switch over to a more bodybuilding style training. But like that intense strength and, you know, also like resistance training is going to also help your metabolism. Everyone is different. Reverse dieting there are no like rules to it. You kind of have to find what works for you and your body. I started the bare minimum. I was skeptical. I didn't really know where to start, and I didn't really know how my body was going to respond. You know, you hear all these things like, oh, I'm eating so much more and I only gained 2 pounds or something crazy. But so I wasn't sure how I was going to respond. I didn't really know if I should believe it or not. Like, it just boggled my mind. Like, how is this possible? I should look this up on MyFitnessPal because I wanted to be accurate. And I went back an entire year. I started in like September 2014, and I started with like 120 grams of protein, 100 carbs, and 45 fats. And that's a little over 1,200 calories. I then increased by 10 grams of carbs and 1 to 2 fats every week. And I did that for about 8 months. I just kept increasing until around late May, early April of 2015 before I started prepping myself for my summer shows. And my intake came up to around 140 protein, 325 carbs, and 68 fats, which is almost 2,500 calories. So I really like pretty much doubled my intake, and yes, I did experience minimal fat gain. Be honest, especially in the beginning of that first initial reverse diet, it was painful. It was slow and drawn out, and there were times, especially at night, where I would binge because I was hungry still. My metabolism was starting to, you know, get fired up, and it was rough. And I feel that if you are taking a reverse diet after your show and you're going painstakingly slow with 5 grams of carbs a week and a fat here and there, which is like 30 calories or something, you're kind of just setting yourself up for failure. And I don't mean that like in a negative way, like in any sense. Mentally, you're hungry, and in your mind, you're just like, okay, I'm done with dieting. I dieted for 12 plus weeks, and I haven't had any of this food that I love, so like, I just want all of it. And by 5 grams of carbs a week, I mean, that's like nothing. You're going to still be hungry, without a doubt, and you may experience a point where you go over those macros that you set for yourself, eat too much, or you don't stick to your reverse diet plan 110%, so you don't increase the next week because you feel guilty, and then you're stuck at that intake again for another week, and you're still hungry and you want to increase, but like, it's like, all right, another 5 grams of carbs, like what is that? Like, I don't know, like a bundle of broccoli. To find what works for you, of course, and what I found what works for me is definitely taking a more aggressive approach. I increased each week probably by about, I think like 120-ish calories. Let's see. Yeah, probably like 120 to 140 calories a week. That's really what I increased by. And because I knew that I had like goals that I needed and wanted to accomplish. And plus, like with the plans that I have and my goals currently for my future shows and stuff, and where I want to go with this sport, I knew I had to just kind of, at first I was nervous. It was my first off season, and I knew that I kind of just had to like bite the bullet and do it because I knew that it would really pay off, and so far it has. I feel that if you are in this sport for the right reason, that you will want to do whatever it takes to get yourself better, so that if you just want to stay, if you're just doing this to stay stage lean and to get skinny and, you know, lean, like, and you just want to be like that all year round, like, I don't think you're in it for the right reasons. That's true, you know, I don't want to say champions, but I guess champions, I don't know. People are made in their off seasons. This is when you get to, you know, I'm sure you had some critiques. I'm sure you needed to, I don't know, put more size on your upper body, or you wanted to lean down your legs more or something. Well, staying stage lean is not going to help you do that. Staying stage lean is not going to make your legs come in leaner next time at all. You need to put muscle back on, you need to put some fat back on. You also want to like get your hormones regulated. You know, you're gonna want to get your period back, my lady friends. I know it sucks, but that is important, unfortunately. You know, you're gonna want to, you know, not feel hungry 24/7. You're going to not want to be tired and cranky 24/7 either. To sum up this video, which I really hope was instructional and not very ranty, take your ending calories and I would increase them by 10 to 20%, and weekly I would increase, you know, if you want to do a standard reverse diet, increase by 10 grams of carbs and 1 to 2 fats. You know, see where that, like, that's a good starting point, see where that, like, puts you. If you're not gaining anything and you're losing weight by doing that, be more aggressive. Add 20 carbs. Add 3 to 4 fats. If 10 grams of carbs is making you like gain a lot of weight faster than you really think you really should be, then either hold back a week and, you know, let your body kind of like figure itself out, or just be a little more conservative. Maybe only add 5 to 6 grams of carbs and, you know, a fat. You know, everyone is different. There's really no rules to reverse dieting. You kind of have to figure it out, and you can't be scared of it. I mean, how could you? Come on. More food. Who doesn't love food? I know I do. If you have any more questions, comments down there. Find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Courtney Svitzagram. And yeah, I hope this did help, and I hope that you are not scared of making those off-season gains. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.